start things off. First of all, welcome everybody. Like, really appreciate everybody coming out. This has been quite the week and certainly quite the day with the dragon attack that happened today. It made things interesting. Of course, a lot of wood burned and stuff. Developers have already responded on Reddit to say that this is going to be changed. They do want to make it worth the value that was put into it. I'm flattered that they thought that we were so threatening and that they wanted to deal with us so badly that they would spend that much time and that much gold to try to come and burn down some of our ships. And that's the way I certainly take it. A reminder, first of all, I mean, we came into this and we've said this at every single meeting that this is an early access game. As we've discussed, everything, and we've discussed in every meeting, everything that we have is throwaway, except our relationships. That is the most important thing. That's what we're working on the most here. The game is certainly fun. We're entertained. We're having a good time. We're crushing lots of enemies and stuff. But it's the relationships that we're starting right now that are going to carry on into the live version of the game after it's been fixed. It's also going to carry on into other games like it did from Albion and ESO and many other games before. So our goal is to bring good people together. That being said, we came in and it was like, yeah, let's relax. You can do what you want. We're going to have some fun. Things just got serious. Time for peace, training, and experimenting has passed. These are not small enemies that we can defeat in a day like Reapers or Mutiny. Jokes that are just easy to kill. That thought that we would be easy to kill. That brought in allies who then realized, oh shit, these are not people to fuck with. And then those allies actually killed them and offered them as prisoners for us because they were like, we don't want to deal with this. They want to be our friends instead. So we've dealt with those ones before. Now we've got a bit of a bigger force to deal with that we were always getting prepared to deal with. But we need to put away the slow projects, the incomplete buildings and patchwork plans that simply won't work right now. I want you to gather your stuff right now to go on ships. That means get your gear to land on the target that we're going for right now with the Alliance, Vornair, Covenant of the Phoenix, Soul Reavers. They're all coming. We are now moving to do things at a higher level of efficiency here. Overwhelming force. So for the next week, it's kind of like martial law. This means that if we agree on certain priorities and targets, it's martial law in a gaming sense, which means it's not really that much. But if we can agree on certain targets, we're going to get them done as a team. That means targets too in terms of buildings. So in terms of specific harbor defenses, gun towers, or bases that are fully enclosed where we've got an experiment right now with fully enclosed brigs in an area that we think that might work. So we're going to discuss some of those projects. We're going to divide some things up, but we're actually going to focus those projects as a group for everybody that can. And everybody that helps with one project gets help with their project. We'll have our list, we'll figure it out together, but we're going to get things done rather than having them all be, half-assed because we're tired and things get behind. We'll start working on the standards for the ships. We've been talking about it for a while, but now it's just necessary. We're not going to spend our week chasing the Fountain of Youth all day or pursuing pet projects or wandering the map in search of small fights while our friends are struggling to hold off a full-on dragon assault. We don't want to watch our friends fight enemies and say, well, we don't want to get hit if it doesn't go well. So we're just not going to get involved. I'm sure they can handle it. They have before. Not today. Those members and allies who don't participate when we engage in major battles with shared enemies won't come with us after the Atlas wipe or into the next game we play. We want to stick with the people that can work together and that we can help too. Truthfully, anyone planning to remain uninvolved and use those of us that are fighting as shields will be the ones to fall next anyways. We've seen that with CSTG in the past.
Rook, standby. We just had a lot of people join untagged. Yakaru, Undead, Oli Dooley, Monty, Michael, Luma, Karos.
These are all COTP.
COTP.
Covenant.
Awesome. Great to have you guys here.
All right, and you guys just confirm that Felix and Kiro are with you?
Yes.
All right, just throw COTP in brackets in front of your name, please. Thanks.
And for our Teshian Bladesman as well.
He's with us as well.
Awesome. Thank you. So I know for those of you who are on today, it was a long, tough day, especially after 2 nights of fighting and just rooting out some other enemies in other places. We had attacks with CSTG, then we had attacks with Mutiny to finish off, then DRPK, and then CSTG again for another 8 hours. You stuck with it. You came back fighting strong at the end, hitting them at home, preventing their land claims and clearing them out, and already starting to rebuild our defenses and fleet. We survived an 8-hour non-stop, overpowered Drake attack during the workday, and we're still here. Weaker companies in Alliance would have fallen today or certainly shortly thereafter. And remember, dragons aren't immortal. They have a timer. They're probably about to get nerfed. In fact, we've already had a response on one of the Reddit posts, so someone can speak to that or put it in the public chat. They also aren't cheap. The time and effort needed to retrieve a dragon and wage an 8-hour assault means that we're not looking at a daily dragon siege forever. And people were smart. I think it was Justifiable or others that said, get the ships out of here. Just sell them away. Don't worry about it. That's all they can do. And then we can always hit them later and stuff. So, and we do this to all of our enemies. Normally we just go out for fun fights. But when our allies said that Reapers were a problem, we said, okay, we're going to war. And war doesn't mean just fun fights. It means we go and we demoralize them. Just like we're doing with Mutiny since they sold our intel to the CSTG. The only way that will be true is the only way that they're going to actually affect us is if we let it demoralize us instead of remembering that everything we've got is throwaway. This is early access and it's a PvP game and we're here for that. Let's refocus ourselves on our in-game efforts. Let's be smaller and nimbler. Let's put less investment into individual ships, pets, and resources we know we will lose at some point. Let's instead stockpile this stuff to replace the common ones we have out there. We have ships named out there for common use, and we're about to have more. Volunteers have built those too. The small amount of 10% tax resources we get from people that are not in the company that visit the islands and stuff.
User
Or
disconnected from your channel.
good new people that have moved in with us and have been very helpful. We'll put towards any of those common projects that we decide. We want to make sure there's no sprawling empty bases that are easily claimed and anything that would hurt our morale while emboldening the enemy. We're going to be wolves in the brush, working together to find and strike targets of opportunity. There is no room for sheep here. If you're one, it's time to swap to a PvE server. I don't know about you, but we came to PvP.
User entered your channel.
So let's go do that now. As an alliance, we've got command chat set up. That'll be for the various companies that are going with us. Let's get on our ships. This is more of a land assault, Navy SEAL style. And we're going to go around and wreck a bunch of stuff tonight.
User
Commanders will
entered
know
your
where we're
channel.
going. We'll keep the rest of it secret from people. It's not really necessary. It's a need-to-know basis. We'll have more smaller talks later on about the priorities in terms of building. I'm also going to put up a post of, my usual honey-do list. It'll be looking for volunteers for a new tower defense lead, a new
User
Navy
entered your
lead,
channel.
people to step up and put together the specs of these are the things that we're going to build. This is how we're going to build them to be ready for war so that we don't have empty buildings, so that we have manned things and stuff. I'm glad everyone was having fun with their different things and they were trying different things. We know enough now from assaulting and destroying so many other people's bases, and some people did it quite well actually when they defended them and built them quite well too, so we've learned from that. And we're going to do it, make sure that all of our stuff that's been burned to the ground, that's just awesome, because it's been burned to the ground so that we can build it correctly this time for some of the stuff that we did lose.
User entered your channel.
And we'll be repeating this on Saturday night as well as an alliance event. One of the other allies will be picking the target. We want to make sure that all of the alliance is turned into something that can bond together and strike out at these enemies. And it's not Chinese, it's CSTG. It's a group of, has North Americans in it and stuff too. But it's enemies that are always night capping and destroying people's ships afterwards that are just making the game a little more toxic. But that doesn't mean that in war that we won't do exactly the same thing to prevent them from doing it to us. Thanks for coming, guys.
Shortest meeting ever.